Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick here with Raw Day Trading, and today it's going to be especially raw. I had a great day yesterday, had a not so great day today, and I am sitting down $730 today. I made mistakes, I traded with size, and it is very frustrating. I was down 800 at one point, and I got down to only down 600, and then it's just amazing how much I let this stuff emotionally affect me. A lot of it was I had a great day yesterday. I was looking, and I was green early in the morning. I was like up $200, and there wasn't stuff really fitting what I was supposed to be doing, and I just kept freaking tacking at it, kept taking small loss after small loss after small loss, and the action was super scattered. I have a note here that I just wrote down when I was thinking about what happened today, and I kept expecting today to be like yesterday, and I just ended up getting very frustrated, very irritated. It's just been a very volatile week. I'm sitting up maybe about $400, which is nothing really when it comes to day trading. And I was up, okay on the week yesterday after my $1,100 day. But today I was up $1,100 because I was flat coming into Thursday. Today I'm only up after my L, only around 400, maybe a little under 400. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't really matter. It's just around there. Part of it is I am being more aggressive, trying to take advantage of this volatility that we have here, and I'm just kind of on the wrong side. But the other part of it is sometimes I'm good, and sometimes my execution is not so good, not so thought out, and we're going to get into it right now. So that's the quick recap. The rest of this video, it's going to be a long, I don't know if it's going to be long. It depends on how long it can take. But I was frustrated with myself for not only taking that L, which was not bad, but I miss the ones that do go. Like after taking that L, I just don't take the risk afterwards. And it's a big but manageable frustration of mine, and so that's just where I'm at right now. I had a couple good reads at the open. I knew good enough not really to take VTAK. It looked like a trap to me. I had a one share swing trade for about a month on TNON, and it popped up. I held. I think it's down or something now. But it was up for a second after being down for a month. Let me just sit down here. And then I will put my screen into this mode. Okay. So coming into the open here, there was a lot of really scattered action, which made me think nothing really was going to go, which pretty much ended up being what happened. DRUG rallying, continuation of the Momo we saw earlier in the week. What was it? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I was like, I am not going to touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. Although, it made a great move. Probably had some great volatility. I just did not feel up to the fight today. I didn't think I would be able to have any edge on it with the skill level that I have. And then the volume was really low. It's coming, it's just super, super fast moving, low volume stuff. And I didn't want to go into the knife fight or to the gunfight with the knife. So that was that. VTAK, I thought I could get some cuts on, but I ended up just not thinking it was going to be great. TNON, I wanted it to go. I thought that would have been the best chance, kind of like the sleeper Momo to come into the market. from maybe shorts covering or something like that, or longs like sneaking a nice trade through, and that didn't happen either. But DRUG, great pop out of the open here. VTAK, this one I did not trust still. But we're going to go fast forward to stuff that I did. It pops into the halt up, DRUG. Then this JDZG stock is the one that I ended up trading the most. Actually, I might have traded TNON more, or TVGN from yesterday. It was also moving today. It was an inside day. I was fighting it, and I was up a little bit. I was super conservative, and then I ended up giving back a lot. I was up like 100, and then I gave back 5. I gave from the high of $100, I lost $500. And it wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't like a big surprise loss. It was just grinding at it with 4,000 shares a trade and just getting frustrated and like shook out and in the wrong places. And I was not thinking intelligently. I wasn't really watching the chart. I was just following the fucking level 2 phantoms, which it had plenty of level 2 phantoms. And that was that. So TVGN comes up. I keep JDZG on the chart over there. Kind of bad for the recap, but it's okay. Let me see. I don't take a part of that initial push. I wait for the second round. Don't really take much off of that. JDZG now up, and I took a trade right here for the break up to VWAP. I had a great trade, and I was up $200 on it. And at this point, I was up $200 on the day. Went from up to 30 to down 730, and that was a swing of $900, and that really got my heart crunching, man. It's just rough. I am working on this though, and this is the volatility I need to be able to handle because I want to go much bigger. I want to be able to size into this stuff and be an adult trader. This is just what I'm doing. So, and good time to mention, day trading is freaking risky. So be careful. All right. At this point, where is my next trade? I don't know what I'm doing here. I think, yeah, I'm keeping off the docket. The volume's not super high. It's not looking super great. It's kind of like curling down. It made a little high here and just totally got obliterated. But I'm like, this thing can really surprise traders if it just pops out of here. It has the volatility. It has that thinness that'll really make it move. And boy, oh boy, did it move against me every time I took the trade. I ended up taking like the market maker stop out, which is, it's like the market maker tax, where you get in for a trade and they just move the stock against you, then rip it the other way. Or I was just in for the wrong spot, and that's okay. I got down $300 on this, and I was just like, from being up 200, I was just like, wow, F you. And I get in here. So what I was thinking, like this was 2 back-to-back trades. I was thinking it was going to consolidate. I don't take the low lows. I'm like, ooh, this thing feels like it can halt. And that would be a nasty trade if this halted on me. And so, like literally, look at the silliness. So I was super silly. I buy right before the close of the 5-minute candle. And, I could have done better. What would I have done better here? I wanted this candle to close. Maybe I would have tried taking it into this trend line, which I did not. I actually tried taking it before. Okay. So I was not aware of this ascending trend line here from these 2 I wanted it to go way low, but then I got impatient. So, no. On dips, if you have a target and it's hesitating, you cannot be impatient. I cannot be impatient. Okay, so that was a mistake. I wasn't waiting for the candle to close. It was a 5-minute candle, pretty significant. Could have totally flipped here. And wow, that would have been a messy, messy trade, because I think that would have halted down, especially being right above the 200-day. The 200-day EMA, that would have prompted traders to really bail out of that. Yeah. So I get a little shake here. Stock shakes. I sell just before it really gets nasty. Okay. So nothing. Like, it was not a loss. It was flat, whatever. But I didn't buy that. I think I was thinking 25. And so I buy late. Okay, so I don't buy the dip, I buy late. Now, I don't know if I could have avoided that. I also get filled in between the spreads, which is not supposed to happen on this kind of thin type of name where there's not a lot of volume. So what that tells me is there are some sellers there, and I didn't like that. I remember not liking that, but I hold it, getting annoyed that I got chopped out the first time. And even the market makers kind of realize, like, oh, I got filled with 2,000 shares at 45. They're probably going to step in front of that other seller now and, kind of increase their exposure a little bit because other people are selling. Okay. So it goes against me, and I'm like, wow, that was not wow. Like, it's not even a big amount. I just wanted that $200 that I already had, and I wanted it to work right away, and it wasn't working right away, so I think I cut it right here. Or I hold it. Oh, I get stubborn. There's a little seller. Oh, there's a cut right there. Okay, cool. I get a little 1 cent bump. Nice buyer comes in. Today feels like confessionals of an inconsistent trader. Okay, so now we have this little spike higher candle, and I'm thinking, well, it's kind of holding above 200-day, but sometimes levels like this, even though they hold above it, they become a trap to lure buyers in, just like what I was thinking, and to dump it. But I know this. I also know that I just lost $100 on it, and I'm like, fuck, I want my money back, and this kind of looks like it might work. So I didn't think clearly. So another note, no, think clearly. I don't know, think clearly no matter what. Man, this is something that is very hard for me, and sometimes support is a trap. Support is a trap. Yeah, if a support level becomes too obvious. And then the other thing too, it actually broke through. Oh, okay. So it broke this ascending trend line formed by the bottom of these wicks here. And then it's kind of retesting it. It didn't immediately rip higher, which, if it were to go, I'm pretty sure it should have ripped higher. Pretty sure. Like, so there's some shenanigans going on here. And I stopped out. I took my L. Where's this next trade that I take? Oh, I get back in. But now look here where the mistake is. This trend line. And I think I'm going to bring up my, okay. Frustration among frustration among frustration here. But I'm going to bring up my charts here just to do this, because I want this trend line to be clear, So you guys see what I'm seeing and what mistakes I made, I can be clear on for myself too. I was buying here. The setup I was buying was a retest. It was basically a contra setup on a contra setup on a contra setup. Contra meaning against. And what I was betting on is that it broke the trend line and it's going to break back below. I can enter wrong password. Come on. Oh, caps locks is on. That it's going to break back above. Right password? Oh, come on. So one good thing I will say is, like, even though these days when I get tilted, I just get stupid. I usually don't get aggressive. I usually don't. It doesn't get super aggressive. It just ends up being like a lot of small stop outs, a lot of small stop outs, a lot of small stop outs. And it's just, it's just stupid and impulsive in that way. I'm going to write that down. My form of tilt is a lot of dumb, small trades that add up. Careful. Oh, today is so frustrating. Okay, so now we're going to come into the beginning of the day today, into what I was making mistakes on. Okay. Oh, interesting. It actually wasn't. I was thinking that this line dropped below, but I was counting on support. In some ways, that's almost worse, because I've noticed that a lot, where this kind of retest is vicious and just breaks apart. All right, let's see what actually happens on the video and how it plays out, because I want to know now. I want to know how this plays out. Okay, so I load up here on that trend line and I cut it. And okay, so it's a 2-cent, $40 loss. And now, that was stupid. Look at that. I buy right back in. Why would I buy right back in if I cut it? It didn't even give me any signals that it was going higher. I just thought I missed it. But it's creeping lower. The candles don't look fantastic. It's below the 20. Buying back in for no reason. And for no reason. Okay, I want to see exactly time frame. Okay, so I buy 43. Same candle, right? I think it's going to rocket higher. I stop out. I buy 40. 1 because of the fills. It pops up to 43 for a second. Ooh, dangerous. And then I'm like, oh, and I have to stop out because it just flushes me out. I'm like, ooh, and I buy again. And it's hesitating here. So it's hesitating. So I'm thinking, all right, Daddy's got something to gain here. I'm like, do I stop out in time? So there are a couple opportunities where I could have got out break even. Right here is one of them. It's kind of hesitating, but now it's not looking good. Now it's like making progress to lows. And then I take another 7-cent stop out. So there was 2 trades back to back that were not good. So the hesitation on the cut here, and this was the actual retest of that trend line, I think. Yeah, I hesitated there. It didn't look great. The level 2 was just hesitating too much. It wasn't any buying coming in. Not any buying. And it's almost like this kind of trend is just going, like the trend line's taking, not the trend line, the moving average, 20 on the 1 minute is just taking it lower. It's just like peaking downwards. And like sometimes it pops back up. Other times, this was one of those times. Okay, so I take one loss. And then without thinking, I'm like, ooh, stock goes low. I take another trade. Okay, so I take that trade. Decent fill, to be fair. But that also means that there are a lot of sellers in this. A lot of sellers just hitting it. I mean, it's not SSR. It looks like a great place to do it. But now I'm thinking that it might actually just dip below. But I don't want to miss the recap. But it blew below this 5 minute. There's a lot of things going on in my head right now. And I'm trying to like think about all of them. And it just takes too long. Oh, and I buy back. And this time I take my small cut. Interesting. But there's a seller, or there's a buyer, there's a couple buyers. And now I'm frustrated because it looks like that's the bottom. Okay, what happens? Did I trade it the best I could have? I could have waited for the double bottom, been a little bit more patient, took a couple smaller wins there. No, I could have waited for double bottom, taken smaller wins on backside. That's an interesting one. Okay, so that's actually a note in itself. Take smaller wins on backside action. So realistically, what I was going here for is a home run. In my mind, I saw this popping and halting up to 280, or yeah, it was about 280, halting up to 280 immediately. And I was like, I don't want to miss this. I think it's going to flip right now. It's the right time. It's kind of like the right look ish. I don't want to miss this. And so, I don't think I did it right. There was a lot of 5 minute Momo against it. I could have taken a couple smaller winners and been kind of flat on it, but it's okay. I made the mistakes. Also, I found that this trend line, it was a strong trend line, and when it breaks, it usually has a little bit more momentum. So I could have taken that into consideration, but I don't think I was looking at that. I think I was thinking of the potential win, and that was the wrong move. So a lot of mistakes there, and I take it, and I kind of back off here, and I for the best. Okay, so now I'm down $211, and that is just dandy. I'm like, whatever. I had a great day yesterday. Who gives a shit? In fact, I get back in, and I'm up a little bit here at this point. Take a couple more little baby trades on it, but take smaller trades on the backside. I got to go for smaller trades on the backside. I'm thinking of all these charts in my head where the backside came and curled and went, and I'm thinking, wow, down to only minus 150 right here. Wow, that would have been such a great day. Oh, or even if I just held that and went to 2-3, because that's what I was thinking of. But when I miss that pop, it just makes me hungry. It makes me want to trade more. Note, don't let pop misses change trading. Because I remember I was super cautious in this area, But then once it popped up to here, I think I might have got a little more aggressive. Just a little bit across the board, not even just here, because I knew it was going to happen. I was like, oh, I'm going to be right. This is going to pop up, retest that 200. It does, and the fact that I miss it and I stop out right before it goes, and I was so close to being green again on the day, and I was also flipped from green to red. It triggered me into a sort of aggressiveness that I knew wasn't really appropriate. And so I'll lose another $70 here somewhere on, where was it? No, I don't lose anything there. Let me see where that next trade is. Okay. Yeah. I lose a little bit here. Wasn't a big deal. Nothing to write home about. It's not crazy bad. 300's an okay amount to lose for a stock. It's just like everything on my P&L today was red, 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 just getting roasted. And this is actually a decent dip, I think. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of the way I managed this. It might have been too basic, too early. But at least I didn't buy under 25. That would have been stupid. Yeah, I bought on an uptick, which kind of is a mistake. Especially in this situation. Upticks on backside suck. There's something for you to learn. Upticks on backside suck. But this is not investment advice. I am purely just showing you about my day-to-day and how it went. I was stressed. I don't know why. I think I'm like dehydrated, but I drink a lot of water. Oh, it's a frustrating feeling. Anyways, I think I have like maybe a little COVID or something. Fuck, I don't know. Anyways, I got the black lung bar. Take a little small loss there again. Yada 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 yada. All right, I want to go like this drug stock. I don't even want to care right now. I can look at it later. It goes massive. It goes parabolic. TVGN. I missed this, but it really had some synthetic action. I was playing it very carefully. And it just wasn't opening up in the way that I wanted it to. It just felt so synthetic. And then, just look at that. It's just like grind. And plus, I was kind of distracted. The difference between today and yesterday is I was trading kind of similar action, but it was I think it was a little bit less synthetic, a little bit more natural volume, and I was 100% focused on TVGN. I was 100%. So I knew the tendencies. Today I feel like the tendencies changed, plus I was off a little bit. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to keep it running. All right. Okay, so tendencies changed. I felt Although that was a good dip, and I don't know why I cut that. That was a stupid cut. I should have just allowed it to flush against me again a little bit, and then I would have cut it. But the problem with that dip right there was, sorry, I just got to see. I wasn't paying attention to it. Again, I didn't have, I've been burned so many times by like taking setups, by jumping names that I didn't trust this, and I thought it was a good idea. Give it a little stop out at break even. It ends up going back up a little bit, and then I could have like really started to get zoned in on it, but I mean that was the place to be. That was really the place to be. Looking back, I can see that even if it would have gone against a little bit more, I would have been okay with the loss. Now it's late. Now it's also possibly going to go lower here. But that was a good area to be in. I mean, hindsight's a bitch. Hindsight is so mean because you think you know it in the moment, but there's other stuff going on. There's DRUG going. There's JDZG that I'm kind of looking at out of the corner of my eye, trying to like see if I can milk anything else. Just there's a whole bunch of stuff, and if you don't, I wonder if Sober is going to be the one to go on Monday. I'm definitely not taking a trade overnight. Yeah, and there was also, because of the weird action, I thought, maybe that's going to totally reverse 187, and then I wanted to get into there. But it was good. It was the right way to be. Cutting it because I didn't do my total research. I just got in because I saw it moving, and it was like an extended thing. Looking back, I would have held it if I knew what I was doing, focused in the name. So I guess that's a note. Nope, be better. Like this was an hour and a half. No, this was an hour into the day. 10:24. It opens at 9:30. You're usually playing stocks one at a time at this point. And earlier in the day, it's sometimes permissible to be bouncing because it's just such a wild goose chase. Everyone's hunting for the stock that's going to be going and that's going to do the ripping, and you kind of have to be adaptable really quickly. But once you get this late in the day, you must lock in my opinion. So, yeah, I hate whining. One stock at a time. Late in the day, lock into one stock at a time. Okay, so there's a couple of things here that are consistent mistakes that I have been making. And it's interesting to see them. Each stock trades differently too. They have different spreads, they have different signals. Scheisse. It's so simple. No, it's not simple. I take that back. Very difficult and very complex. But it's a simple thing to just focus, because I do much better when I'm like zoned in and saying no to setups. Here, that might have been a buy right there. Ooh, I don't like that big bid though. That usually gets reversed. But maybe a buy right there if it gets popped up a little bit. Yeah, that would have been okay-ish. Ooh, sketchy, especially if the bid gets pulled. Yeah, it's a sketchy one. And the range is small, and so it's like, okay. So let's see where the trap comes in, because I start trading this like a mofo. Oh, it's after this move. After this move. Let's see this. So that bid gets burned through. I want to see the bid get broke. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay. 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 It gets sold into. Oh, it hesitates. So you buy right there. I would buy right there. I would be holding now, enjoying this creep because I like the creep. I like the creep higher. And I'm like, yeah, where you at? Be a little sketched out. It's holding below the bid level. I'd be like, oh, this could really flush on me. But But even then, you cut there. It's only a 10-cent winner. It's not even a big thing. And then you would wait for another little test here, maybe of 05. Buy right there. Ooh, goes a little bit too low. You're sketching out. Oh, is it going to test 205? Probably not now. Right? So you're cutting right there, and so you still have about 8 cents net. Okay. All right. All right. All right. But when this gets reversed, this is a very strong signal, and for all intents and purposes, it should have gone. I fought it underneath the reversal of a really strong signal. Don't fight stocks trending down below really strong signals. So I was arguing. I was like, no, I'm right. I'm right. This is going to go. It's just like yesterday. It's going to pop. Note. Careful on. Do not think day 2 will be parabolic if inside candle, which it was. So I'll show you. TVGN yesterday did. That was a nightmare stock that I didn't even want to touch. The eFresh. Yesterday, TVGN. Let's go just daily here. TVGN does this. Pa pa pa. Like it's a wapa. It breaks out over this level. There's continuation. Really explodes. Breaks a critical pivot here from this candle and just goes. And then today, all of the action was contained in here. So maybe if it got it above 250, it might have hit like 279.3. Like that's what I was aiming for, but I was getting in too early, and I could have made a little bit of money, and I did make a little bit of money, but the aggressiveness at which I had was inappropriate because there wasn't enough pressure on the stock to go higher, and you can kind of sense that, and I kind of knew that, but I lost my head, and I'll show you where I lost my head right now. And it's unfortunate too, because it was a decent day. Like, aside from me like doing this kind of stupid 4,000 share back to back churn, today was it was okay. It would like down $300 is okay. Like it was within range. It was acceptable. I made some mistakes on JDZG. I probably would have found a stock later in the day much more balanced that I could have like even got it down to like 150 because I did have like a down 800 to up only down 600, so I probably would have cut my loss down to really low. I would have been like, wow, today was frustrating, and it would have been whatever. But instead, I took a bigger loss than normal. I wasn't trading my game. And because I wasn't trading on my game, I did not trust myself on like new tickers that would pop up. I wasn't adaptable. And trading on your game, trading well, even if you lose, but like you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, bop, it doesn't work. Okay, well, it's still a strategy that works, and going and trying something else and trading intelligently is the best edge. But the problem is, if I get punched in the face, metaphorically, probably physically, like I change to like timid, and I'm like and like the shots I take are just like big open swings, leaving myself vulnerable. Whereas like when I'm trading at my best, like yesterday, I'm very calm. I let stuff go if it's not appropriate. And I'm just like sitting there hunting, waiting for a setup, and I have good ideas. And I'm patient, but aggressive when it's time to be aggressive. And so I thought I was doing that here. I really, really thought I was doing that here. And that's the trouble, is thinking that I was trading well when I was trading not well. So like, let's watch it. I jump in early there. That wasn't an appropriate done. I cut it. I'm like, ooh, okay. And $40 loss. That's annoying. Whatever. Get back in as it jiggles around. But why would I get back in right there? It's close to the 30-minute candle. This thing could really open up to the downside. Especially when that first trade didn't work. And now I'm holding. Why am I holding here? Maybe my instinct's telling me something. I think I was still okay at this point. And that's me stopping out. For some reason, I thought 259 down was a problem, so I kept trying to do it. This is creeping lower. New candle opens. Creeps lower again. Really waiting for the unwind here. Or I should be waiting for the unwind. Nope. I buy an uptick. Not appropriate. And I cut it because it was not the worst setup. Volume was in my favor. It was above the 20. It had kind of like a double bottom support. There was a potential for it just to evaporate up to 210. And that's what I was thinking would happen. But it didn't. Creep lower. And so now my thesis is wrong. What do I do? Let's see. I'm still thinking it's going to do this slap back here. And so like I get in 96, really good fill, but bad signal. Especially because it's holding low. If it would just go 98, 99 and keep going higher, well, sure, it's good, great signal, right? You get filled low, it's going higher. But oftentimes what it means when I get filled, how I interpret getting filled between the spread and getting filled low, is that there is a seller or a significant amount of selling pressure that is allowing the market makers to still make money and fill me low. Because I just assume market makers always make money. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking hidden order, a lot of selling pressure, a lot of orders placed up around 2, trying to get filled. And the market makers are like, oh, I'll fill you low. People are willing to sell. It's what's in demand right now. And so I don't know. And I'm good at cutting it. And I got out for break even. Okay. It's 1, 2 breaks lower. And now I'm thinking, oh, I traded after this too. And I think I saw that. I'm like, okay, big bid in, definitely got to stay away for now. But it pops higher. Ooh, that faked me out. The pop higher faked me out, but the big bid was lower, creeped lower too, made a new low, and the bid made it pop higher. And then JDZ starts popping up. So I'm distracted. I should have just let that. I was trying to preempt the setup on JDZG. Note. Don't try and preempt comebacks of stocks that totally fell apart. And this is the only thing I like about it is it's crossing the 20 SMA on the 1 minute. That's the only thing. But it's still below moving averages. Maybe, it's got a double bottom there. Maybe if I were a bit of a longer term trader, I'd be thinking about taking something here for a little scalp up higher, and like letting it jiggle. But that's not really the strategy I trade. I like quicker trades. I like trades that I can manage my risk on a little bit better, so I can take bigger size. At least, whatever. So I distract myself. Not great. And this happens. And I'm like, ooh, where did the buyer's gone though? I didn't even see the buyer get filled. Smartly, I put it to 0. Interesting. So where do I fail? Where's the failure in? See, now I'm back and forth between these two names. I don't get that dip. I'm thinking it's going to go. I buy 100 shares right there for some reason. I'm like, oh, I got to get back to my regular size. I'm thinking it's going to break above, but I'm buying into resistance here. Interesting. There's some of a buyer right there. It's a little bit less than before. Do I wait for this candle? It's a 5-minute candle that's about to close, so the volatility is going to pick up. I want it to go higher, of course. Does it look like it's going to go higher? Makes a little bit of indication that it might want to, but this is a red flag. Gray candles are a red flag. Always. I've found for myself, gray candles are almost like a tide change. So a reminder. Be wary of gray candle. Yeah, it's like a shift change. It's like a signal, like a blowhorn to the market makers and traders. We have a signal shift change. Plus, it was a back check and all the other standard stuff of technical analysis. And so I stay out of the way. I actually did good staying out of the way. Where do I fail here? I keep thinking that this is where I fail. And it goes lower, and I don't make any trades. Drug goes higher. Oh, that was what I was thinking. I was thinking, wow, drug is running. I want something else to run. I think something else is going to run. And so I started being aggressive on TVGN. I got to write this down. This is an instance where it was a mistake of reading the market overall. Friday midday, drug starts running, and I incorrectly ignore chart signals and because like I had already become less aggressive on TBGN, not thinking that this is a shitty setup. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. I mean, no, that was appropriate. Getting aggressive again because I'm looking at it here and I'm thinking like, wow, I can really pop higher and get aggressive. Oh, yeah. I mean, I should have waited for the close of the 5 minute probably. I don't know exactly what I do, but I think I don't wait for the close of the 5 minute. And from what I see here, it's signaling downwards. It's signaling that it keeps making new lows and it gets bought occasionally, but timing it is going to be a big challenge. It's at a level here. It creeps below though. It like tests once, pops high a little bit, then goes below again. So it tests, pop high, test again, pop a little bit higher in that candle, and then breaks again. And so it's had multiple chances to bounce. It's had multiple chances for buyers to come in, but the buyers aren't coming in enough strength to move this in any direction. It doesn't become impossible for it to happen. It's just every time that happens, the buyers are less and less likely to buy it there. And so traders who are thinking that this level here, the blue dotted line, which is a pivot from like yesterday in pre-market, is going to be support, which it acted as resistance right there. It just becomes less and less likely. And so the appropriate response is to be less and less aggressive, both in the share size and the setups that you're taking and the amount of setups you're taking. So Friday midday, DRUG starts running, and I incorrectly ignore chart signals and become more aggressive on a side name signaling lower, and parentheses, I was thinking sympathy, when there was no indication of sympathy. Actually inverse. Yeah, a lot of notes today. A lot of lessons to learn. So as this is peaking up, okay. Now what happens? It halts. It shows an insane price. Do you see that? It was like $450. Yeah, drug hasn't quite made it. I have my charts open. And so what do? Is this a setup? I wait for that candle to close. It kind of creeps lower. It doesn't open up. It was an improper place to be aggressive. I was thinking it's going to evaporate to 2, and I'm not going to be able to get in, and I'm going to get chopped around. So I buy it. I buy at 191. What happens? There's a seller. I don't sell. I don't sell ahead of that seller. I hold. Why am I holding? Okay, I sell right there. Plus, it was glitchy today. I forgot about that. It was really laggy and glitchy. So I get out at an okay price. I buy right back in, though, over VWAP, but it creeped into VWAP. No, creeping into, it's a reminder, too. It's not even a note. Creeping into VWAP is not a setup. Fucking silliness. And I cut it. You know, I had a little loss there. But I get back in because it looks like it's holding. Really just waiting for souls to buy. And then now I'm frustrated because it kind of popped back up. And then I just churn right here. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. And now this looks really bad. But it's probably going to bounce because it looks bad. No, it keeps going lower. And I take it. Oh, I take it. And it looks okay for a second. Oh, and I double up. I double up trying to make up losses there. The stupidity. That could be another. That could be another no. That could be another no. That could be another no. Okay, no. Doubling, upsize to make up consistent small losses is a good way to lose more money and get frustrated. So this probably shouldn't have only been with 2,000 shares. Okay, I think I have a small winner here or something. No, I took a small loss. Oh, why do I hold through that? Yeah, and you just get bigger, and then you have to sell into selling. I didn't get any slip there, which is brilliant. But then I think to get back in right here, I think with another 4,000 shares, and that 5-minute chart. That 5-minute chart. I mean, it could bounce. Oof, and that's a nasty one. When it flips you right immediately, like just waits for you to get filled. Do you see that? Okay, what happened here? So it's 83 by 84. Pops up to 85. Waits for me to take the bait. I get filled my 4,000 shares at 84.70, 184.72, and immediately it goes to 83 by 84. And I know that that's a bad sign. I hope I cut it right there, but there's a buyer, and then I cut right here, and I think this is where I get slipped. And so I'm just fighting this thing, and I haven't cut yet. And I'm thinking, what am I thinking? There we go. And it's super laggy, and I take my small but significant loss. I go red on it. You know, for the size, it wasn't terrible. And I'm just like, wow, that was stupid. But now I'm down 500, and I want it back. I want it back. This is probably where I should stop out. Down 500, you know, whatever. It's a normal day in the office. Up 1,000, down 500 is an okay ratio. I could have been up better, but I need to stick to strategy. And I need to be clear on strategy. Okay, to do. Be clear on winning strategy. I must be clear on winning strategy. I must take the trades. I must manage my risk appropriately. That's all there is to it. All right. So there's a green candle here. I don't know why I took that. It's just like, it's just showing lower each time and then shaking me out. The green candle, it looks like it's trying here. It really looks like it's trying. And I cut it for flat. By this time, it doesn't mean anything that I got out unscathed. Just all I'm thinking about is that I'm just paying fees now. I'm racking up fees, just churning shares. And it's not like I'm consciously thinking this. It's just what's going through my head as I try to focus on the stock. Like there's just background noise in my head. Background noise, background noise, background noise. I don't have the focus. Maybe I didn't drink enough water today. Okay, so pretty sure I'm going to try to take another trade here. But big size. Yeah, it looks like it's holding, but that's not a good place to take it. Oh boy. Let me fast forward to where I take the more trades. Stupidly take more trades. Okay, now I do good walking away here, putting an alert, although I'm still watching it and it starts curling back up, and of course that gets me attention wise. Focus on a little bit. Then this 5-minute candle closes and I'm like, oh, maybe it goes higher, which probably it does, but not in the way that I think. So I changed the name, and then I changed back as it looks like it's breaking this trend line, and I'm like, this looks like a setup. But I will say this volume is getting really low, and it's not really responding to the drug. And the bigger problem is drug is going to open in a few minutes here after its extended long halt, and all the attention is going to be on drug. Well, it actually has no volume. That's crazy. It goes up that high with no volume, but sometimes stocks do that. But I think everyone will be watching that stock, and so that might be the bigger problem. And this ends up going back up to 90 and then rejecting. I don't really take any trades on it. I'm just kind of watching. Really good patience, to be fair. I will say during that time I had great patience. And then this, let's watch this trade. Okay. That's an okay setup. Oh, and I take it out just as it gets going, and I'm sure I'm going to get back in just as it's done, because that's how that works. So I take it for a break-even trade. And then now it looks like it's going to go to 2. But I don't take it. And I remember this. I don't take it. I wait for it to get to 2. I want to see how it trades. Or if it gets back down to 85. That's what I'm thinking here. But these stocks are tricky like that. They're not going to give you an easy entry. And sometimes it's like, is it going to wait for me to get in just to reverse? Is it going to work like that? Sometimes they do. Sometimes the moment you buy is the moment that the stock reverses. And I think some of it is psychology. For sure, the market makers have psychology of traders down to a T. But sometimes I think it is a sensor trap where it's like it's literally waiting for an order of a particular type to trigger and reverse and make them stop out. And a couple types that they could be, well, if you look at the level 2 here, these white orders, those are trades on the consolidated tape from basically wholesale brokers that trade amongst, they have just so much volume coming through them that they're able to match orders amongst themselves, whether it's a wholesale broker or like a Citadel, which is like also kind of like it's a market maker, but like it also matches internally. And sometimes the orders get matched in like Schwab, or they get matched in that area. But what I was a lot of times they could trigger maybe on like the green are usually like less retail traders. They're usually like more sophisticated retail traders, or other market makers that don't have access to the or maybe not market makers, but other participants that don't have access to those wholesale brokers, whether it's because their broker is like a high speed broker and it's just reacting directly with NASDAQ and just getting the liquidity there. But a lot of times I think that they wait for a spurt of buying volume to reverse, or a certain type of order to come into reverse. There's a whole bunch of things that it could be. A market order, like they can sense. I've read a couple books on like different algorithm tradings and market maker firms and stuff. And there was this one where I think it was in this book called Dark Pools, where this one firm had an algo trading firm. They were trading a systematic trading thing, and he found like he just kept losing money, even though like the strategy would backtest well, it should be working. But what was happening is every time they tried to hedge their position, and hedging is a different thing, like you'll have to look it up and do your own research on that, but basically it's to protect you from an adverse movement. Every time they try to put a position on to hedge another position, like their position, they were buying in like the S&P 500, or like a futures contract on the ES, which is basically tracking the same thing. The market maker would sense what they were doing and move the stock against them till they sensed they stopped out, and then move the stock back the other way, and then just totally run. And then they would redo it, buy again, they would do the same thing, and then they would go back the other way. And so the only way that this firm found out was he canceled doing business with or he was like getting threatened to go out of business, but his firm did so much volume in the market, and the market maker makes money by the more shares they trade, the more the firm makes money. And they wanted to keep this person, so they gave him a hint, like at a party. The owner of this firm gave him a hint at a party that he was like, yeah, you're screwed, basically. He said you're screwed. He said you use a limit order, you're screwed. You use a marketable limit order, you're screwed. You use and basically they were using limit orders, right? Because they want to capture the rebate. The rebate's really important for those types of people, but for the market makers, because they do such high volumes, they need that, and they're not always trading directionally. They're trading to get the rebates. But so the guy who, one of the employees, like a rep for the firm, was just like, you're screwed if you do it that way. Oh, and he was like, what about this order? And he's like, this type of order? And you're like, you're screwed if you do it that way. And what about this type of order? Screwed if you do it that way. And then he was like, here's what you have to do. And he's like, basically, from what I remember, it was something so complex. It was like a conditional limit order. It was like, buy this amount if X was only here and if Y was there. And it was like all these conditions set on it. And because you have to send this information to the market, and the market makers see this information, and then they respond in a certain way to that information, and they basically can front run or change orders and positions based on what they see. And he was like, the owner of like this firm that like was about to go out of business was like, why are you telling me this? And basically the rep was like, because we want to keep you as a customer, and we know you're about to go out of business. But that's only goes to show you that retail traders are the least sophisticated and the most obvious to see in the market. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And in order to overwhelm that, you really need to be aware of like how stuff moves, and traps and things like that. And you need to be within the safety zones of the where you don't get killed by market makers so much. Yeah. Anyways, all that to say, I messed up today. It was a very long rant about. Let's see where I make mistakes here. Oh, and then it goes up to 2. Yeah, this is something that happens all the time. I get FOMO, and then I start trying to take dips, although I have extremely good patience here for not taking any L's in that zone. But then it goes back up, and then I'm like, okay, no. It really looks like it's going to break here. Let's see what happens. I'm in. It's not breaking. I cut. Okay. It's not breaking. I cut. Whatever. Breaks a little. It finally breaks. Oh my gosh. Finally. And then I miss it. And then it really breaks. Oh yeah, this was the theme today. Breaks, then it really breaks. Then I miss it. And then the dips don't get bought. I buy the dip. I think I get murdered on this. Where do I get murdered? I get murked somewhere. Oh, I get murked on that dip right there. Yeah. Honestly, it wasn't as bad. Okay, so yeah, this is a candle that I probably shouldn't have been buying against. But I take the dip thinking it was going to do a similar thing to over here. It goes lower. How far lower does it go? I buy it. I get filled high. I think it's going to break low. I'll hold for a second. I cut. It probably goes back to my break even because that's how it works. And then I try to get back in. Yeah, there's my break even. Or there was where my break even was. And now I'm down 531. Oh, and I get a little winner there. Oh. Buy back. Ooh, and then it pops higher. And that's interesting because I was like, I felt like it should have actually died there, but it was like a lucky buy or a lucky break. I thought I was gonna have to stop out. Goes to 210, reverses. It's at 203. I'm in again. Peaks low. I'm thinking, okay, reversal here. Come on, reverse, mother. And then, wow, that flash lower. That was the candle closes, and I'm just like, Rah. I probably shouldn't have been in for that candle close, given that. Yeah, that was a mistake right there. So it was an okay position. but it was about to close. I held too long and just evaporated. Really evaporated. And then I'm like, okay, is it going to bounce back? I could have cut it there. I did not cut it. And that was a mistake. Oh, there we go. Nice cut. Fucking finally. But now I'm down 600. And I'm like, well, that's a hard candle to fight against too. Like, why am I trying to fight that? This is a really high volume green candle. I think I'm just not seeing clearly. There's a lot of stuff that I know better. There's a lot of trading that I know better. But anyways, let's keep watching. Okay, so I get back in. No. Oh. Oh, and I double? Ooh, that's a sketchy place to double. That's a really sketchy place to double. I'm thinking, wow, that thing could tear up, but sketchy place to double. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then now I'm down 730. I'm just like, wow, today is a day. Today is one of those days. One of those days where I paid the bills to the market makers for all these beautiful free trades. One of these days where I pay in frustration. I definitely paid in frustration tokens. Oh, man. I gotta find a better way to do this because my heart is just getting stressed. I can feel it. I don't like it. Yeah. And I think that's when I end my stream. Oh no, I take a small trade right there. But you know, it shouldn't be breaking down this low. It's kind of breaking a trend line. Let's see here. Where did it go? Yeah, this is a stock that I also botched, although I don't have video on it. Or at least I don't think I do. BIVI. But that's going to be about it. That's about where I ended down. I made some back on QNRX. I lost some again on BIVI and then on some other stock. I don't know. But today, I'll show you my P&L here. Yeah, 392 down on TVGN, 311 down on JDZ, and green 89 on QNRX. Got a little bit better trading the sloshy, halting, flippy, floppy trading, but it is a $1 stock, which just I tend to undersize for, which is probably why I traded so well. So maybe I can think about doing that for bigger stocks, but I don't know. This was today. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown of the lessons I got taught today that I learned. And I will catch you guys again on Monday, or maybe this weekend if I decide to do any weekend study sesh. And hope you guys have a great day. Peace. Thank you for watching. Bye. And thank you, sincerely thank you. I know like one person or so will watch this video, but thank you. It's just like without you guys, I just wouldn't. I would have all this stuff pent up inside and wouldn't. I have such a better motivation to take the time and go through this stuff because I'm doing it for somebody else. Also, which brings me back to this is not investment advice. Day trading is risky, as you can tell. You can lose money very quickly. The market is tricky. The most difficult things ever. My results aren't typical. This is probably even a good day for how bad I traded. probably from experience, I have a lot of ability to cut problems that maybe if you're new would be bigger. So don't think that you could trade like me um, and not lose even more money trading the same size. Anyways, thank you guys. Have a great day. Talk to you later.